There is a thief that comes in the night. It does not steal your possessions, it steals your peace. It does not break into your house, it breaks into your mind. You know this thief. You have invited him in. You have set a place for him at the table of your consciousness, and you have allowed him to feast upon your serenity. We stand at a peculiar precipice in the history of our species. We have spent millions of years evolving, sharpening the blade of our intellect, refining the tool of thought. This tool allowed us to conquer the elements, to build civilizations, to split the atom, and to map the stars. But a strange paradox has occurred in this gradual evolution. The tool has become the master. The servant has seized the throne. Humans have forgotten how to stop thinking. We have crossed a threshold where the mind, once a brilliant architect of solutions, has become a relentless factory of problems. Consider the architecture of your own suffering. How much of the weight you carry is physical, present, and tangible? And how much of it is constructed entirely of smoke and mirrors within the skull? We generate unnecessary thinking, a vast, churning ocean of noise that creates problems that do not actually exist in the physical realm. They are phantoms. They are ghosts haunting the corridors of the brain. Think of the moments when you lie awake in the dead of night. The world outside is silent. The dangers of the day have retreated. Your body is safe, wrapped in warm sheets, protected by walls. And yet, inside, there is a war. You start worrying. The mind spins a narrative of disaster. What if this happens? What if I fail? What if they leave? This is the genesis of unnecessary unhappiness. It is a self-inflicted wound, reopened night after night. Most people walk through their days completely unaware that a significant percentage of the tragedy in their lives is not an external event, but an internal production. It is generated by unnecessary, negative, and often deeply destructive mind activity. They are sleepwalking through a nightmare of their own design, and the tragedy is they don't even know they are the ones running the projector. This brings us to the first gate of freedom, the first step into the temple of true mindfulness. It is a discovery so simple it often escapes the intellectual, yet so profound it changes the very texture of reality. It is the realization that there is a voice in your head. Listen to it. It continuously comments on your life. It is like a sportscaster describing a game that is already happening, but this sportscaster is biased, critical, and often cruel. It comments on what is happening around you, judging the weather, judging the traffic, judging the stranger's shoes. But more often and more destructively, it comments on. This is the phenomenon of self-talk. Everyone knows what this is, though few admit the extent of its tyranny. You talk to yourself. Sometimes it is a whisper. Sometimes it is a scream. You might address yourself in the first person. I am so tired. I can't do this. Or, strangely, you might split yourself in two and talk to yourself in the second person. You really messed that up. You shouldn't have done that. Pause and look at the absurdity of this. If you are the one talking, who is the one listening? If you are the one criticizing, who is the one being criticized? Are there two of you? This creates a friction, a heat within the psyche. You get annoyed with yourself. You berate yourself. And then a third voice might enter, a meta commentary, saying, why can't I stop thinking? Why am I like this? And now you are trapped in a hall of mirrors, reflecting reflections, lost in a maze of mental noise. This realization that you are the host of this voice, but you are the voice, is the first awakening. It is the dawn breaking over the dark landscape of the unconscious mind. It is the discovery that this continuous monologue is not reality. It is a filter reality. If this voice were spoken aloud, if you walk down a busy city street, vocalizing every erratic, fearful, judgmental thought that passes through your mind, people would step away from you. They would think you were insane. If you saw a man muttering to himself, arguing with invisible enemies, reliving arguments from 10 years ago, you would say, he has lost his mind. But here is the cosmic joke. There is very little difference between the man muttering on the street and the normal person sitting in an office. The only difference is volume. The man on the street has simply turned the volume knob up so the world can hear. You keep yours internal. But the insanity, the circular logic, the obsession with the past and the fear of the future, it is identical. Why didn't I say that? I should have told him off. Next time he looks at me like that, I have the perfect comeback prepared. The scriptwriter in your head is constantly rewriting scenes that have already wrapped, or writing scripts for scenes that may never happen. It goes on, a relentless spinning wheel weaving threads of anxiety. And then there is the betrayal of the body. This is where the tragedy becomes biological. The body is an innocent creature. It is ancient, biological hardware designed to respond to the immediate environment. It cannot distinguish between an actual reality, a tiger in the room, a fire, a physical attack, and a vivid thought in your mind. It treats them as equals. So, when you lie in bed and think a fearful thought, when you imagine your life falling apart, your body does not know this is a fantasy. It believes the danger is here, now. It reacts. The heart rate elevates. The muscles tense. The cortisol floods the system. This is what we call an emotion. An emotion is simply the body's reaction to a thought. If you think, I am in danger, the body says, understood, preparing for battle. It triggers the fight or flight response for a threat that is purely imaginary. You feel the agitation, the heat, the trembling of anxiety. Now, imagine doing this not just once, but day after day, year after year. Imagine feeding your body a diet of chronic fear, chronic resentment, chronic worry. You are poisoning the well. You are asking your body to live in a permanent state of emergency. This depletes the life force. It decreases the body's intelligence, its ability to repair itself, its ability to fight disease. We are only now, in the slow, moving world of mainstream science, beginning to validate what the mystics have known for millennia, the connection between the state of your mind and the state of your health is absolute. In the past, we treated the human being like a machine made of separate parts. We looked at the liver as if it were an engine part, disconnected from the driver. We had specialists for the heart, specialists for the skin, specialists for the mind, none of them talking to each other. But you are not a collection of parts. You are a totality. The physical body and the mind are a dance, an intricate feedback loop. If the mind is polluted with the smog of negativity, the body chokes. It is vitally important to become the watcher of the voice. You must stand at the gates of your own mind. You must observe the quality of the guests you allow in. For many people, if they were to audit their internal dialogue, they would find a staggering bias toward the negative. Consider the asymmetry of the human mind. A beautiful event happens. You go to a reunion, or you witness a sunset that sets the sky on fire with gold and violet. It is majestic. You acknowledge it. That was beautiful, you say, and perhaps you recall it once or twice. But the mind cannot chew on contentment. Contentment is slippery. It offers no friction for the ego to grab onto. You cannot think a sunset for 3 hours. It just. But let something negative happen. Let someone disrespect you. Let someone deny you the attention your ego craves. Now the mind has a feast. Now the mind has a bone to gnaw on. Did you hear what he said? Who does he think he is? Just wait until tomorrow. You can dwell on a negative event for days, weeks, even years. You can keep a grievance alive like a potted plant, watering it every morning with your attention, ensuring it grows strong and thorny. It seems that for the egoic mind, a negative event is high-octane fuel. It burns hotter and longer than joy. Joy is too simple. Joy requires presence. Grievance requires time past and future, and that is where the ego lives. For some, this negativity is not just a passing cloud, it is the climate. It is the atmosphere of their entire existence. A significant percentage of their mental activity is a critique of reality, a resistance to what is. And this brings us to a law of the universe that is as precise as gravity, the law of correspondence. There is a correlation invisible to the eye, but heavy in consequence between your predominant inner state and your external reality. Your internal weather dictates the climate of your life. It dictates who you meet, who you befriend, where you work, and what happens to you. If you carry a storm inside you, you will find yourself in the midst of shipwrecks. If your mind is a chaotic marketplace of judgment and anger, you will attract others who are buying and selling the same misery. You will find yourself in companies, in relationships, in situations that reflect your inner turmoil back to you. The universe is a mirror. It does not judge. It reflects. I do not ask you to believe this as a dogma. I ask you to observe it. I know this from the laboratory of my own life. When I was young, before the awakening, I was a heavy, unhappy child. My childhood was painted in shades of gray and black. My mind was a machine that continuously manufactured evidence of my own victimhood. Whenever something went wrong, and things often did, I had a mantra, a dark prayer I would repeat, of course. Bad things always happen to me. This is my lot. It always happens to you. I was casting a spell on myself. I was talking to myself, affirming a reality where I was the victim, and the universe, in its infinite compliance, said, "As you wish." And so, bad things continued to happen. The spiritual awakening, therefore, is not some esoteric explosion of light. It starts with something much more grounded. It starts with honesty. It starts with discovering the continuous mind activity and admitting, I am doing this. For many, the first step is the shock of realizing just how negative their mind is. It is like turning on the lights in a basement you haven't visited in years and seeing the cobwebs and the dust. It is not pleasant, but it is necessary. You must see the clutter to clear it. You cannot simply abolish thinking. The mind is a tool, and it will continue to run. You cannot stop the river, but you can climb out of it and sit on the bank. The question is there an awareness the thinking? Can you catch yourself in the act? Can you catch yourself in the middle of a repetitive? useless thought loop and smile at it. Can you say, there is that old story again? I have been playing this record for 10 years. It is scratched and skipping, but I keep playing it. It is often easier to see this mechanical nature in others. The upcoming holidays, the family gatherings, these are the perfect laboratories for observation. You go to your Thanksgiving dinner. You sit with relatives you have known since birth. And before they even open their mouths, you know the script. You know what your uncle will complain about. You know what your mother will criticize. You know the political arguments, the grievances, the stories of 1995 that will be retold with the exact same inflection. They are playing roles. They are caught in repetitive thought forms, and they are completely identified with them. They think they their opinions. They think they their stories. If they have a judgment about you, know that it is not personal. It is mechanical. It is the same judgment they had last year and the year before. They are sleepwalking. It is easy to see their madness. It is much harder and much more courageous to see your own. There is an ancient saying, knowledge is the most difficult knowledge. The eye can see the whole world, but it cannot see itself without a mirror. But if you can catch a thought in the moment of its arising, if you can feel the anger bubbling up and say, I see you, then you have introduced a new dimension into your life. You have introduced the dimension of space. You have introduced the observer. That observing presence is not a thought. It is not a new voice arguing with the old voice. It is the silence, the voice. It is the sky in which the clouds of thought pass. It is the deep ocean beneath the turbulent waves. From this place of presence, you realize that many of your thoughts are not only unnecessary, they are actively making your life difficult. Worry, for example. What is worry? It is the imagination used poorly. It is a misuse of your creative power to conjure scenarios you do not want. Most people live with a cluttered mind. It is like a hoarding situation inside the skull. Every shelf is filled with old judgments, dusty opinions, broken memories. They meet a new person, and immediately the machine starts labeling. I like him. I don't like him. He looks like my ex-husband. He is arrogant. Labeling, judging, taking a position. This is the addiction of the ego. The ego feels safe only when it has defined everything, when it has put reality into little boxes. I am against this. I am for that. It adopts a mental position and then defends that position as if it were a castle. But it is a castle made of sand. If you look deeply, you may discover that beneath this noise, beneath this frantic activity of doing and achieving and judging, there's a sense of lack, a sense of not enough, a deep knowing insufficiency. We try to fill this void with the world. We think, if I just work harder, if I just get that promotion, if I just find the perfect partner, if I just accumulate enough wealth, then the voice will stop. Then I will be enough. But I tell you, that is a mirage. You can conquer the whole world. You can have your name on every building. You can have millions in the bank. And if you have not transcended the ego, you will still feel that lack. You will simply be a rich person who feels empty, instead of a poor person who feels empty. The texture of the suffering changes, but the root remains. To transcend this state of lack, to go beyond the neediness that drives so much of human madness, you do not need to anything to your life. You need to go within. The remedy is not more doing. The remedy is being. Focus on the realization of being. It is the only place where the lack does not exist. The ego is a ghost that feeds on the future and the past. Being is the flame that burns only in the now. Go within. Close your eyes to the world of forms and open your inner eye to the formless. Discover who you are beyond the person, beyond the name, beyond the history, beyond the story of your trauma and your triumphs. There, in the stillness, you will find something that thinking could never give you. You will find the spaciousness of your own soul. You will find that you are not the voice in the head. You are the one who hears it. You are not the waves of emotion. You are the ocean. And in that discovery, the thief in the night has no power. The noise fades, and what remains is the peace that passes all understanding.